A St. Joseph woman spent 4 decades in prison for the murder of a St. Joseph library worker. But now she's out of prison following a judge releasing her. And as KQ2's Chris Roush explained, she's suing the St. Joseph Police Department and the city of St. Joseph.
Sandra Hemme spent 43 years in prison for the murder of a St. Joseph librarian back in 1980. But now she is suing the city of St. Joseph and 8 police officers in a 10-count federal lawsuit alleging malicious prosecution, a coerced confession, and conspiracy. Hemme was accused and found guilty of killing Patricia Jetski in 1980, serving more than 4 decades of her life in prison, until a Missouri judge ordered her release last July, saying she was, quote, the victim of a manifest injustice, despite attempts by Missouri Attorney General Andrew Bailey to keep her behind bars.
People that I still see from the library, we've believed for quite a while that she didn't do it.
In an interview with KQ2 last summer, Kathy Green, a former St. Joseph Public Library employee who worked with Jetski, says her and others never thought Hemme committed the murder.
I'm a little upset with myself that I didn't help pursue finding her innocence.
In Hemme's federal lawsuit filed last month, her lawyers alleging there was never any objective evidence tying Hemme to the crime, while pointing the finger at a former SJPD officer, Michael Holman. Her lawyers stating the police department at the time concealed evidence and chose not to follow the evidence toward Holman. Hemme was 20 years old when the murder happened, and her lawsuit says she was suffering from serious mental illness and was interrogated 8 separate times during 2 weeks. The court documents also suggest Hemme was in a psychiatric ward at the St. Joseph Hospital around the time of Jetski's murder, struggling with psychiatric impairments and various addictions throughout her life, being treated for several disorders including thought, mood, and substance abuse. The lawsuit alleging that detectives interrogated Hemme while she was even in the state hospital and on antipsychotic medications, and a St. Joseph City spokesperson telling KQ2 that they cannot comment on pending litigation.
She was a wonderful person. She was really sweet and kind.
But for those like Green who worked with Jetski 45 years ago, she says she'll never forget the impact Jetski had on her life and wishes the proper individual who committed the murder would have paid for the crime they allegedly committed.
Everybody that I talked to from that time period, we don't believe that Sandra Hemme is responsible.
Chris Roush, KQ2 News.
Michael Holman, the man who Hemme's lawyers allege actually committed the murder, died in 2015.